Thanks a lot, Connor. Well, in today's Brand X, as companies cut advertising and marketing costs to save money in this recession, experts say it's those that spend cash on its branding that may come out on top. Geico this year spent almost $470 million through September on advertising and recently unveiled its newest character, Cash, to get their money savings message out. Meanwhile, McDonald's, which served up earlier this week supersized store sales of nearly 8%, has spent an estimated $50 to $80 million to give their restaurants and food packaging a fresh look. So here with more on the power of branding is Mark Stinson, president of Stinson Brand Innovation. Mark, which industries and companies do you think do this branding thing the best in a weak economy?
Well, I think there's a temptation in this kind of economy to hit the stop button on many of the marketing and branding efforts. But the companies I think that are going to come out on top when we come out of this are the ones that hit the forward fast button right now. And I think the industries like you see it in energy, you see it in finance, you see it in technology, and I think the service industries are doing a very good job right now too.
Okay, now you mentioned some industries that are really pretty down in the public eye, energy, finance. What's the key to successfully branding your industry, particularly in a down economy?
Well, I think, for example, I mentioned energy. There's two notable campaigns right now that we're watching. One is ExxonMobil, and the other is Chevron. And ExxonMobil is spending most of their money on very policy-oriented campaign messages, whereas Chevron, I think, is focused on what can a person do, what can the public do to affect their own energy consumption and their own economic outlay for gas and so forth. And I think in this case, Chevron may be coming out on top.
So, Mark, why?
In the financial markets, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mark, why do you think there's some folks that are successful at this and others that aren't? I mean, a lot of these companies throw a bunch of money at it, but some of them obviously don't get the results that they desire.
Well, that's right. And I think some companies are more internally focused and they decide what message they want to get out, whereas others are more customer focused. They're thinking about what the consumer wants or what their own customer, if it's in a business to business, maybe it's an engineer, maybe it's a physician, what kind of message does the customer want to hear versus what message do we want to get out? And I think the companies that focus on what the customer wants to hear are going to be more successful in the long run. Okay,
you talked about a few brand changes that you like. What are some brands that may be looking to change their image or probably, in your estimate, should be changing their brand image?
Well, I think a lot of the healthcare companies, many of these are our clients, and they're looking to the future to say, how can we strengthen our position and our brands in this changing economy? Healthcare is obviously on a lot of people's minds, and these companies want to be sure that they're well positioned, again, to help consumers understand what value they can add. I think also in the financial sector, you're going to see a lot of brands obviously trying to rebuild their value in the public's eye, too.
So in today's economy, what do you think are the cost-effective ways to sort of, enhance your brand, but also to sort of, if you could, do it on the cheap?
Well, and I think there's three areas that if somebody said we can only do certain things because we're cutting back, don't stop altogether, but focus on one of three things. One, either focus on getting your message out because you have a dominant product, your product is good quality, well then turn up the volume. Or second, if you feel like your product needs major enhancement and repositioning, take the time now to spend on R&D. Or product development or brand development. So again, when we come out the other side, the brands will be stronger. Or third, spend on customer service and the brand experience so that, again, people see the value of not just the product itself, but the other attributes or experiences that the brand could offer. But whatever you do, don't stop all three. Too many people now are tempted to stop everything, but you've got to do one of those three things or you'll lose altogether.
Okay, Mark Stinson. Thank you very much, Mark. Really appreciate it. Coming up is that one thing you should know.